the #1 bait in April. It's not sexy, it's not anything special, but it catches more fish, more bigger fish than any other bait in April. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the top 3 baits in April. I've got all of these tied on. I spent my whole day yesterday getting things tied on to go to Redcrest. Our Redcrest championship event is at Lake Guntersville this year. Really excited about it. It's gonna be a phenomenal event. Like, I think the weights could be crazy because it's just falling right during the spawn. And so it really made it easy for me to choose my top 3 baits because I have all of these tied on in that boat right there behind you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get these baits tied on. Well, I got them tied on. Let's get these baits, you know, in your hands or in your brain to get you to thinking about something to be sure you have tied on if you're going out there fishing this weekend or this evening or whenever it is that you're going. A little bit about April. I think April is like the month fish spawn. I mean, from South Texas to Missouri, even further north of Missouri, because it happens so quick up north, like they are just spawning. And the baits I've got picked out, 2 of them are really largemouth related. 1 of them is all fish related. Like if I had to say the #1 bait in April, it's not sexy, it's not anything special, but it catches more fish, more bigger fish than any other bait in April than is known. It just truly does. Let's just talk about it. And it's just a weightless stick worm. I got one of these packages is open. And as always, guys, we give all these baits away at the end of the video. Like these baits will be in the May video. At the end of this video, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pick the winner from last month and give them away. But that worm right there, the silliest thing ever, is the #1 bait you can have tied on in April. And let me just tell you why. Like, okay, so when a fish spawns, you know, you've got to have something that's slow, that sits in that area where that fish is guarding, protecting, where its home is. And this thing comes sinking down through there real slow, instead of something moving by its head like a spinner bait or a vibrating jig or a swim jig or a swim bait. These other things, yes, they will bite some of those things, but like I said, this catches all of them. Like it catches every fish because it makes you slow down. And this thing's so versatile in all the different ways you can rig it. Like the #1 way I would say to rig it, there's no wrong way, but the #1 way to rig this thing, I think, for the most part, there's always exceptions, but it's just wacky rig. You know, just hook a hook right through the middle of that thing, throw it out there, let it go to the bottom. It's the time of year that you want to take your wife fishing, your kids fishing, you want them to get bites, that's the bait that'll do it. You just rig it wacky style, let it go to the bottom, pop it up once, let it go back to the bottom, reel it in, do it again. Now another way to rig it is just Texas rig. I've got it rigged in my boat as a Texas rig to flip around laydowns, around lily pads, around holes in the grass. Another way to rig this thing I've got rigged over there in my boat is on a drop shot. Another great bait and presentation in the month of April is just a drop shot because it's going to sit on a weight. You're going to just keep it right above a bed. You know, if you're visually fishing for them or you're blind fishing, either way, it's just a great bait. I don't know why. Green pumpkin is the #1 color. It just catches them. It's a slow presentation, makes you slow down as an angler. Something I have a hard time, but April is that month that you've got to like pump the brakes, power stop brakes. You got to like slow down to get those bites because you got to think, if you guys have ever sight fished or you've seen fish on beds, what happens when you first make a cast in there? Let's say you made a good cast, quiet entry, it wasn't kabloosh, just even a good quiet entry. That fish swims off immediately, like it just does on any pressured situation. Yeah, you'd love for him to stay, but most of the time that fish swims off and 30 seconds later it swims back up there, investigates it, and hopefully he bites. So you got to think about how much slower you have to go if you're not visually sight fishing for them. You know, like here in Oklahoma, we got a lot of dirty water. Those fish, you can't see them. It's too dirty to see them. So I always just walk myself through it. When I pitch it in there where I think there might be a bed, you know, I'm blind fishing for spawning fish, I let it sit there and I'm like, oh, he just swam over there. I just kind of make it up in my head. I have a little cartoon in my head and oh, he's coming back, you know, and it just makes me slow down. So just think about that in the month of April. A great bait is that just Max Scent Green Pumpkin General. It's got that added scent to it that helps close the deal. We've proved how good the scent is in it. It's different than all the other bait manufacturers in that they put the scent on the outside. So when it hits the water, the majority of it washes off. This bait here, the scent is on the inside. Makes a big difference. So it emits scent. The longer it's in the water, the more scent it emits. The longer it sits in a spot, the more scent it emits. That's why it's so great with smallmouth, because they're so keen on their scents. But good bait, guys. I can't get over that enough. That's one bait right there. Okay, I got to go to this one because I'm pretty excited to tell you guys about this one. This bait right there, if you wanted a little morsel of a snack that a bass cannot stand, it's that bait right there. We talk about it a lot. It's a bluegill. Like, it is their biggest nemesis all of April. Like, this guy's trying to come around and eat all their eggs, all their babies. Like, it's like, it's all the bad guys in the Marvel movies, you know. The good guys are trying to, the bass are trying to get rid of this thing. It's the aliens invading. He's the alien invading that bed. It's just a cool bait. And I'm gonna do some, I'll show you guys some underwater footage of this thing going through the water. I just throw it out there and you can just reel it in. Like, it's really simple, just reel it in. Another good bait in April is a swimming worm. We've done a bunch of stuff on the channel of that. And we always said the swimming worm kind of imitates a bluegill. Well, that really imitates a bluegill even better than a swimming worm. It has a great action coming through the water, and then if you want to just let it sit to the bottom, it's going to sit vertically like that when it's on the bottom. So a neat bait. I throw a couple different sizes of it. Like the one I'm going to give away here is probably my favorite, the 3-inch version. It just gets a lot of bites. I throw this on like 14 or 17 pound test, a medium heavy rod, a slow gear ratio reel. You can burn it right underneath the surface. It stays vertical. It'll wake the surface, or you can just slow reel it. It just catches fish. I will say it probably shines a little bit better in those clearer water situations. If you get in super dirty water, that's when a vibrating jig or spinnerbait's gonna be better. When you get in those cleaner situations, 18 inches, 20 inches, 12 to on clear, that's when this bait really shines. My favorite color here is just that bluegill. It's got that little orange right there you can see on the belly. Really good. I think it's just an added attraction of it. Another size I throw is the 4-inch, and then like one of my favorites is this one. This one here, it's really unique in the fact that I'm not giving this one away. I got to keep this. I just cut it off out of my boat. I got it tied on in there. Is how you can rig it. Like, this one is so weedless, and the hook slides like this through it. So the bait, the fish never gets leverage. And this bait right here is so cool in the fact you can burn it and it'll just right on top of the surface. You can slow wind it. If you kill it, it actually wiggles as it goes to the bottom, and then it just sits on the bottom vertically, just perfect like that. If you're burning it and you don't have a lot of cover, then this line tie, you can actually bring it out the belly right there, and you can put your treble hook. There's a little slot right there to put your treble hook. So you can rig it a lot of different ways. If I'm in open water, yeah, put it down here. It's gonna be the best. If I'm bringing it through a lot of grass, a lot of cover, put the hook on top, and a bass is always gonna eat that thing head first. You get those 2 barbs, then it slides up, and only leverage that fish has is that one treble hook right there. But super cool baits, made by Savage. I had to go on the website and order me some more, and they're all on sale on the Berkeley Pure Fishing website right now. So you can take advantage of that, like really a good buy on these. My favorite colors, bluegill. They got a ghost gill. They got a pumpkin seed. I think that one right there is pumpkin seed. Well, it doesn't have a color on it. It just says item number 3673, but I'm 99.9% sure that's pumpkin seed. I know this one's bluegill, but those are some baits to put in your arsenal that probably a lot of people aren't throwing, and they're not expensive baits. So many times with swim baits, they can just get out of hand. These are very affordable. And as always, I'm gonna give these 2 away to you. These are my favorites. They make a 3-inch, a 4-inch, and then that big 5-inch. That's actually 5.5-inch. Super cool baits, gets a lot of bites, and you can get some big bites. It's just a bait that's subtle, that represents what those bass don't want in their area, what they're eating this time of year. Super cool bait. All right, so then final, you're in an area where the water's a little more stained. Maybe you've got a lot of cover. You got lily pad stems, you got grass. This just isn't being effective coming through there. No better bait than a swim jig in the spring. Like, it just represents a bluegill, represents a crawdad a lot. This is one of my favorites right here. It's just Bama brim. I've got the same weight. Both of these are 1/4 ounce. One's an actual swim jig, the other's a finesse jig. So the difference is, the heavy hook to me is when I've got my swim jig on braid. And I use braid when I'm in lily pad stems, when I'm in grass, when I'm in those situations. Basically any type of vegetation, like, you know, you're making long casts, I need braid to get a good hook set. I need to get that fish out to get it coming back to the boat. I go with the finesse swim jig when I've got it rigged on fluorocarbon. The finesse swim jig on fluorocarbon is just a lighter wire hook. I'm casting it. It's open water. It's down the sides of docks, you know, around laydowns, just open water. That's just when I use it. So let's just talk about what we do to that jig. When we get that thing out of the package, you know, the great thing about a Berkley jig is they have the power bait technology infused in the skirt. I kind of pull it apart like that, and then I'm gonna flip that thing over, and I'm gonna trim that skirt. I'm gonna give him a haircut, okay? So take my handy dandy scissors right here, and we are just going to make this thing have a little bit more of a taper to it. So now some of the strands are shorter, some of the strands are longer. It's just more compact. The finesse swim jig has a lighter weed guard than the heavy swim jig, so I like the weed guard like there. There are times that I'll take that weed guard and I just trim the top half of it to where it looks like that. You can just get a little added hooking power right there. And then the trailer, I just really like the Shape 108 trailer. It's a Berkley product. I've got watermelon is the color here, just a great representation that matches this jig really well. It's a 3-inch version. Everybody knows how to do this, but we're gonna do it anyway so we can show the finished product. We are going to put that on there super straight and get it to come out. Got a great keeper on that jig also. I love that keeper. It's just one of those things you don't have to worry about my trailer falling down. And then there is the finished product. Just nice little compact jewel. It's got a wedge head. It's going to come through anything. I love that color for clear water. Now, I would go to a darker green pumpkin orange or something if the water's a little bit more stained. Go all the way up to a black and blue if I'm in a cloudy situation or a really dirty water. But those would be the 3 colors I'd have in and around April when I've got those fish spawning. So figure out the speed, figure out the cadence. Sometimes they want it super fast. They want it, you know, rippling right across the top of the water. Then there's times that, man, you need to let it go to the bottom and then swim it 3-4 feet. Let it go to the bottom, swim it 3-4 more feet. Like, experiment with your retrieves with swim jigs. I can't stress that enough. So yeah, that's a bait that will flat catch them, man, catch big ones. So those are my top 3 baits for the month of April. And we got to talk about this, guys. Tackle box. Super cool. Plano's got these new 3,700 boxes out. They're at Bass Pro Shops right now only. They will make it to the rest of the retailers. This thing's $9.99. Like, it's the best buy that you can find. What's different about it is they've improved the 3,700. You've got tons more trays now that you can divide it all up. They've got the rust stricter in it. Just a cool box for only $9. The one handle, it's got a label right here that is you can actually like wipe it off and then relabel it if you end up changing stuff in it. Super cool box, really rigid, single latch design, $9.99, you can't beat that. So let's get to the winner. And with that said, guys, I just appreciate, man, you guys hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. One of the ways you can support me and support my channel, man, is check out my pecans. If you guys ever wanted to get some really good, healthy pecans, savory is my favorite flavor. Like, when I want to be good and healthy. If I'm wanting something a little bit better, that 918 specials, a cinnamon sugar pecan. We make all those in-house, super fresh pecans. For you guys up north, you guys don't know what fresh pecans are. The pecans that you buy in a grocery store are years old, like years old. Like, there's just, buy a fresh pecan sometime. You'll understand why we like them so much down here in the South. And all right, let's get to the winner. We just do this every month. We randomly go down through there. We pick a winner, and this time we've got the winner, JT Ford 389. Awesome video as always. Really appreciate the tips you give out. Have caught some big ones on the pre-rig cold shad. Fish on, brother. Hey, buddy, fish on to you. Send me your address through my website. Just go to edwinevers.com, type in your name, that I'm the winner, and your address, and I will get it out to you. That is the only winner, guys. I never contact any of you. Keep the spam off of here. It's just, I just like to do it just to give back to you guys for being loyal subscribers and fans of the channel. Appreciate you guys a bunch, and it's just one of the ways that I can give back to you guys. One, with the knowledge, two, with the baits, to help you guys become better fishermen. So with that said, I appreciate the support. Go catch a big one. April's a great month. Bluegill is the theme of the month. If there was a theme, spawn is the theme. Yeah, go get them, guys. Good luck.